These are...
No fear. No political correctness. No wokeism. You're listening to Underground USA.
Here's this morning's segment on the Captain's America Third Watch with Matt Bruce, as broadcast on the Salem and Genesis Communications networks to over 2 million people each and every night across the world.
Joining us right now from the panhandle of Florida, up there almost all the way into the other side of the world, we've got Frank Salvato, Frank Salvato from the undergroundusa.com website. There you go.
Mr. Captain, yeah, we're out here at Fort Wilderness.
Yeah, you are. You're in the wilderness of Navarre, Florida. Well, starting to get serious here because old Mitch, Moneybags Mitch, and his PAC that he's got is starting to take some of the money and put it out there into some of these Senate races to try to give a little bit of life to them. One of them is Dr. Oz in Pennsylvania, who is in it up to his eyeballs in alligators against this John Fetterman. And by the way, he really shouldn't have much of a problem beating the guy if he's soft on crime and all that. And that is a major problem in Pennsylvania right now. People getting beat up and shot in the streets and all that sort of stuff. So you would think that'd be easier. But he just gave him $9.5 million, bringing his total up for funding to $34 million he's given to Oz to get him elected.
Yeah, and I'm sure he did that because he's seeing all the people that are supported by Donald Trump getting elected in the primaries around the country. Now, after not being there for Donald Trump when he was president, and saying the things that he did about him after January 6th, now he's got to butter the other side of the toast just in case. This is why Mitch McConnell should not only be in charge of that gigantic PAC fund, he shouldn't be reelected when he comes up for election next time. We always talk about the cancer of politics inside government.
Yep.
This is a guy who's never executed good government in his life.
Yep.
He lives and dies by the polls. He uses money as a weapon against the people who don't toe the line. If political coercion was something that George Washington warned us about, if there was a picture in Washington's book, it would have Mitch McConnell's face next to the heading. So while he's doing nice things for Dr. Oz, who, by all intents and purposes, and you're right, should be able to rock the boat quite nicely all by himself, given the poor government that's been executed on behalf of the citizens of the state of Pennsylvania, you do have to look at cities like Chicago, who keep voting in the same party for decades upon decades upon decades, who have an abattoir in the streets every weekend. Just because there should be a sea change doesn't necessarily mean there's going to be a sea change, especially when you start talking about urban areas that are glow in the dark blue and never change. So unless the state of Pennsylvania is going to rally behind somebody who wants real change so that they can overcome the big numbers and the manipulation that comes out of the urban centers, I don't know what money's going to do.
Well, out in Nevada, where we have Trump-backed candidates Lex Alt and Lombardo, both of those guys are leading in their races, and that's a good thing because Nevada pretty much went blue last time around.
There's always some stink in the room after Harry Reid leaves the door open, and that's with the politics that was set up in the state of Nevada. So let's hope we can get it back to being purple, hopefully maybe even red. But again, all politics is local. So you need to be talking about the policies that affect the people locally. If all you're going to do is get on stage and start screaming about national politics, that doesn't give you a foot up with local voters where politics and elections happen. Yes, you should talk about national stuff, but you need to address your constituency.
Well, when we come back, because the music's coming up in my ear, you and I are going to talk about it. I'm going to tease it this way. Jennifer Granholm, who I think has lost her mind with the comment she made yesterday, and Frank and I will get into that when we come back. What a statement to make from the Department of Energy Secretary. The woman needs to be recalled and tossed the hell out of D.C.
This is Kyle Warren. Stay tuned. There's more of the Captain's America Third Watch coming up right after this short break. And if you'd like to join the conversation, call us now at 1-877-969-8600.
American Express, investigated by the U.S. government, caught processing a Soviet-era politician's dirty money, paid hundreds of millions in fines for deceiving customers. Rather than clean up their act, American Express has gone woke. Employees say people are promoted and told to offer lower premiums based on race. Amex administered critical race theory training that told employees capitalism is racist. American Express. Serve your customers, not woke politicians. Visit unamericanexpress.com.
This message was paid for by Consumers Research, a 501c3 educational advocacy group. To learn more, log on to consumersresearch.org.
News, insight, passion. AM 930, The Answer.
All right, back to Frank Salvato, undergroundusa.com. Mr. Frank.
Mr. Captain.
We have got an energy secretary who used to be the governor of Michigan. I believe she was a one-term governor, and nothing she did worked, had everything upside down and backwards, and wound up getting beat. Had a whole bunch of nonsensical things to say after that. But yesterday, I think she showed us why she couldn't be the governor, because she sure as hell can't be the energy secretary making comments like this. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Well, her answer to inflation was to get solar power for your house because it would save you on your electricity and you would have more money to spend on other things so that you wouldn't be hurting financially. And that would save you so much money. And you'd get the EV tax credits, the electronic vehicle tax credits too, on your cars and save money that way. Well, she forgot something. The price on the cars went up higher than the tax credit.
And the solar panels are never free.
No. Nope.
And they have to be replaced at a certain point in time because they don't last forever. And then when they don't last forever, those things end up in landfills, which is one of the reasons we were starting to try to get away from all this evil fossil fuel stuff because it was polluting the earth. Let's go back to the panels for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
The program that does this, we were talking about this off air, and you mentioned that you have to be below a certain income level for the government programs to actually come in on solar panels.
Mm-hmm.
And that threshold is infinitely below the poverty line.
Yep.
Infinitely below the poverty line. And if she were to have pivoted to, the local power companies, They've got programs where they'll give you free solar panels.
Right.
You'll get free electricity for the solar panels that are doing your bills will come down. That's another load of BS.
Uh-huh.
They come over, they install the solar panels, and they say, yes, now your solar panels will be providing you the electricity that your house uses, so you won't be paying for electricity that much anymore. Except you're going to be paying for the solar panels in installments that equal or exceed what your electric bill used to be.
Yep.
As far as the EVs, let's all just run out right now and spend the money it takes to get an EV because, that helps inflation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what helps inflation? The Federal Reserve staying the hell out of it or managing it with honesty and not bailing out bankers like they did during the housing market bust in 2008 when they should have let irresponsible banks go broke.
Mm-hmm.
When you have banks, and understand this, please, everybody, the Federal Reserve is not the part of the federal government.
Nope.
They are a conglomeration of the biggest banks in the United States.
Yep.
That's why they get to do what they do with manipulating the worth of money. It's only for the well-being of the banks. It was for your well-being. You would have seen the interest rates come up when they needed to come up, so we wouldn't be seeing inflation and recession in a cyclical form.
Mm-hmm.
It's the mismanagement of the banks that are hurting you in the wallet.
Yep.
If banks were making loans based on sound financial numbers when large corporations come to them, instead of, wow, we can get this company over here. If they default, there's no problem. There's no problem because the government backs everything up.
Right.
I beg everybody, it's a longer book, but I swear it's worth your time. The creature from Jekyll Island will explain the Federal Reserve and the American banking system to you, and then get into how the banks manipulate everything through the World Economic Forum and the rest of the world. The American taxpayer takes it in the teeth, not only from the crony capitalism that's done in the United States, but from third world countries who default on their loans. They take loans that are all backed up by U.S. banks, so when they default, it's guaranteed by the U.S. government. Who's the U.S. government? We're the U.S. government.
I got some breaking news I got to get out there for the locals here in my area. Folks on the Howard Franklin Bridge headed south on 275, do not get on the Howard Franklin Bridge right now. Do not get on the Howard Franklin Bridge southbound, south of where we're at right here. Stay on this side of the bay and get across, go around. There's a car on fire. One lane is getting by. That's the Howard Franklin Bridge headed towards St. Pete. Shut down right now. A big backup starting. It'll get much worse, so find an alternate route. Stay off the Howard Franklin southbound.
Yeah, and if you go the opposite way, do not rubberneck so the guys can get there.
You bet. Mm-hmm.
You know. But yeah, when we go back to inflation, the government has to stop spending, and the Federal Reserve has to stop manipulating. If we get back to an honest free market, you may not have the safety valves you do if you're a bad business owner, but the dollar will be stable again. The market will be free again, and you won't see politicians being able to carve out all these fun things for their election benefactors, like let's scam the people by saying we're going to pass an Inflation Reduction Act and actually make it a $500 billion carve-out for the green energy.
Speaking of carving things out, how about Dennis Rodman taking a little trip to Russia to help free the basketball player, Ms. Grenier?
Well, I'm from Chicago. So we don't speak ill of six-time champions, even though he was only with us for 3. But you have to put a smile on your face and say, boy, wouldn't it be something if Rodman came home with the basketball player?
Yeah.
That means a basketball player with more metal in his head than a lot of tanks have on their sides.
Yep.
Is actually a better diplomat than the career diplomat who must be Secretary of State Lincoln Blinken. Maybe Biden says, you know what, Blinken, your time is up. We're going to have Secretary Rodman.
There you go.
Or Ambassador Rodman. I put nothing past this administration.
Super ambassador, roving ambassador, something like that.
Super Ambassador Rodman. There you go.
All right, well, you're going to stick around for another segment. Thank you for doing that. Hang on, and folks will be right back. And guess what? When we come back, we're going to talk about what's going to happen Tuesday, but in particular, our governor, Ron DeSantis. And everybody seems to be gunning for the governor, but they better be careful what they wish for. They just might get it stuck right back in their nose, and that's not going to be pretty. All right, I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the Captain's America Third Watch.
Handcrafted exotic blend teas at the lowest shipping cost anywhere. Hi, I'm CJ, owner of the Emerald Coast Tea Company. We ship our premium gourmet blends with Sindel, offering you the lowest shipping prices anywhere, while also being carbon neutral. Excellent tea at the right price. Check us out at www.emeraldcoastteacompany.com. Honey, this ain't your mama's tea.
News, insight, passion. AM 930, The Answer.
All righty, Frank Salvato, Underground USA. Thank you, sir, for sticking around.
Anytime and always.
Sure. Now, before we get into our great governor, Ron DeSantis, Jilly baby, is back with Joe. She rejoined the president after testing negative 2 days in a row down there in South Carolina, and she's now back with Joe at the little compound in Delaware.
Well, good. Now they've got somebody to wipe the oatmeal off his chin.
That's true. All right. We have probably got, and I'm going to be probably very partial on this, we have probably got the best governor in the United States right here in Florida. Would you agree with that statement?
Absolutely. That's not being partial or biased or anything else. It's the state everybody's moving to.
Mm-hmm.
Our economy's booming, and people in droves support the guy, even on the center and on the left.
Yep.
He's the best governor that I've seen in my lifetime.
Yep, and our unemployment rate is at the lowest level it's been since they've been recording it, and it's getting lower, apparently, from what we keep seeing here. Now, the Democratic primary coming up pits U.S. Representative Charlie Crist. He's still a congressman until January. A former governor, of course. He was a Republican when he ran the last time around. And he's running against Agricultural Commissioner Nikki Fried, who is currently the Florida's only statewide elected Democrat. How about that?
Well, Nikki Fried, and for those of you who've traveled through Florida or who live in Florida, who ever had to stop by a gas pump, when she was elected, she issued tax stamps on the gas pumps that had her smiling face on it, so you could know who to blame for the taxes on your gasoline. A more incompetent move and politically freshman move has seldom been seen. But she wants to run against Ron DeSantis.
And by the way, she was ordered to take that sticker off those pumps because it was not legal.
Yeah, it was free campaigning.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the kind of person that you want, who's going to try and bend the rules of an already shady politics in order to get a step up, then vote for Nikki Fried. If you want a state that works, that forbids the schools from trying to indoctrinate your children into alternative lifestyles by force, if you want a state where you don't have CRT taught in the schools, that's DeSantis' Florida. When every other state was taking a knee to the bully far left, the fascist woke movement that swept the country during COVID because everybody was captive, Ron DeSantis and the Florida legislature stood up and said, not here.
Mm-hmm.
We're not doing that here. They actually served the people. They served the parents of school children. They served the average worker. He kept things open. He made sure the economy didn't collapse.
Mm-hmm.
He made people's lives better.
Mm-hmm.
Nikki Fried, we got something to look at when we were paying out the nose for gas because her department controls the gas tax, you see.
Now, we know that Charlie Crist, who last served before his stint in Congress as a Republican governor from 2007 to 2011, he lost the 2010 race for the U.S. Senate as an independent when he went up against Marco Rubio. He wanted that so bad he could taste it, and he thought he could win. And in 2014, as a run for governor, he ran as a Democrat, and he lost that one, too. But I'll tell you, I think Charlie's better days are behind him. I believe this is when we probably retire Charlie, and I don't think Ron DeSantis cares who he runs against.
All you have to do is listen to DeSantis. He's a savvy politician. He will run hard. He's going to run very, very hard with whoever he's got to run against, and he will win. I've never seen a governor more popular in a state.
Yep.
Ever.
I've never seen as many Democrats that like this guy. I mean, they're everywhere.
Yeah. Well, that just goes to show you, and this is something that the rest of the country needs to pay attention to.
Yep.
And this is why Gavin Newsom was running disingenuous disinformation commercials in Florida.
Yep.
When you serve the people with fidelity to the job, it doesn't matter how much the political parties want to sway things back and forth. The people feel it, and they vote for you. This is what Washington meant in his farewell address. If we can keep party politics from being the let's coronate a king or let's make sure the party stands before the people, then you get true public servants. Ron DeSantis is a true public servant for the people in the state of Florida, and it shows.
Yep. All right, let me drift down over here to the phone line. We got one caller on the line, and let's see what we got. Good morning, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
All right, you got a minute because we're running short on time. Sorry.
Yeah, real quick, a comment and a question. Real quick, Dennis Rodman, regarding him going to Russian Federation. You know, I think he's been one of those undercover State Department diplomats, if you will, using sports as a goodwill gesture, because he was in North Korea several times.
Yep.
And even President Trump praised him, even though it wasn't directly related to Rex Tillerson and the State Department, purportedly getting the release of what's his name, Otto. I can't remember his last name.
You're right.
Getting him released, and every time people were like, "Well, Whiskey Tango over. What's this guy doing downrange?" So if he gets this basketball player out of the Russian Federation, big deal to me. She shouldn't have been downrange with drugs or whatever, even though it was CBD. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. And lastly, I was wondering if you guys have heard anything about the Biden administration using and contracting with TikTok through the Federal Voting Assistance Program to get messaging out for the midterms and the presidential 24 cycle coming up.
All right, let's go
about it. What you think? Yeah, Roger. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Eric. Okay, I've heard something, but I can't verify it.
All people need to know about TikTok is that you shouldn't be using it, period.
That's right. Spies on you, period.
It's a data farm for the Communist Chinese Party. You even had somebody who was affiliated with it who quit, a PhD, come out and testify to that in front of Congress. And now, all of a sudden, the federal government's coming out saying, yeah, they are kind of connected to the Communist Chinese. So if you think the Communist Chinese might be a threat to the United States,
of course,
and you're using TikTok, well, you're helping them.
Yep, you sure are.
So screw TikTok. Be a little bit more discerning about how you use social media. Make sure you policed up your privacy rights, and don't be a lemming. Oh, it's TikTok video. I have to watch TikTok video. Well, who owns TikTok? Well, I don't know, but it's TikTok. We got to use TikTok. No, we don't have to use TikTok.
No.
And the Chinese can go back to China.
Thank you. And we'll give them the shovel to dig the hole there.
Absolutely.
All right, my friend.
TikTok.
All right, my friend. We will talk to you on Friday. Have yourself a great day.
Say hello, my friend.
All right, that's Frank Salvato, undergroundusa.com, undergroundusa.com. Go over there, check it out, and I'll be right back.
This is Kyle Warren. Stay tuned. There's more of the Captain's America Third Watch.
Please like the episode on the platform you're listening to us on, leave a comment if it lets you, and share us with your friends and family. Our influence grows when you share our podcast. And don't forget to sign up for our Substack, which comes directly to you, subverting the interference of the internet gatekeepers and social media censors. You're listening to Underground USA. My name is Frank Salvato. We'll be right back after this.
This podcast is a production of the Compass Point Group.
Hey, this is Judson Carroll of the Southern Appalachian Herbs Podcast. My new book, Growing Your Survival Herb Garden for Preppers, Homesteaders, and everyone else, is really for everyone. No matter where you live, whether you're in a homeowners association or you have a nice big farm, or even if all you have is a balcony and an apartment, you can grow the herbs you need for your health, for your family's health, and be ready to face any circumstance that comes your way. I make growing herbs easy, practical, and fun, actually. So look for this book. It's on Amazon if you want a print copy, or you can contact me directly for an ebook. Find me at judsoncarroll.com. Thanks, and I know you will enjoy this.